My first job out of college was at a tech company on the verge of something huge. I was just a junior data analyst, but I loved my job. I was part of a team working on the groundwork for a massive, multi-billion-dollar merger. We were all pulling long hours, fueled by coffee and the excitement of being part of something so significant. Our department head, Mr. Harrison, was a legend. Sharp, fair, and he saw potential in people. He was the one who hired me, and I looked up to him immensely. The work was intense, but the atmosphere was electric. We were a tight-knit team, and it felt like we were on top of the world. Everything changed the day Chloe arrived. We learned she was the niece of a powerful board member, Mr. Sterling. She was hired as a senior project manager, a position that put her directly above many of us who had been there for years. From day one, something felt off. She had this air of entitlement, walking around like she owned the place. She'd show up late, take long lunches, and spend most of her day on personal calls. When she did engage with the project, her ideas were often impractical and showed a clear lack of understanding of the complex data we were handling. We tried to be patient, thinking maybe she just needed time to adjust. But it only got worse. She started to micromanage everyone, questioning our methods without offering any constructive feedback. She'd dismiss years of our experience with a wave of her hand. Morale on the team started to plummet. People who were once passionate and collaborative became quiet and withdrawn. The worst part was that she took a particular disliking to me. I think it was because Mr. Harrison often praised my work in meetings. She saw me as a threat, or maybe just an easy target. She'd publicly criticize my reports for trivial formatting issues, or claim I was being uncooperative when I tried to explain the technical limitations of her unrealistic demands. The tension came to a head during a critical phase of the merger prep. We were tasked with integrating two massive, complex datasets. It was a delicate operation, and a single mistake could corrupt everything. I had developed a custom script to automate and verify the process, a script I'd spent weeks perfecting. It was designed to flag any inconsistencies and prevent data loss. On the day of the integration, Chloe decided, without consulting anyone, that my script was too slow. She insisted on using a generic, off-the-shelf software she'd read about on a blog. I tried to object. I explained that the generic software wasn't designed for the specific architecture of our databases. It wouldn't recognize the unique data flags we had in place. It was a huge risk. I showed her test runs that proved my point. Mr. Harrison was in a meeting with the other company's execs, so he wasn't there to back me up. Chloe just smirked and said, "I'm the senior manager here. We're doing it my way. If you can't get on board, maybe you're not a team player." The rest of the team looked on, helpless. They knew I was right, but they were too intimidated to speak up against the board member's niece. Feeling cornered, I stood my ground. I told her I couldn't, in good conscience, proceed with her plan because the risk of catastrophic data corruption was too high. I said it would jeopardize the entire merger. She turned red. In front of the entire department, she shouted, "You're insubordinate! Your negative attitude is toxic. Pack your things. You're fired." Just like that. I was stunned. My colleagues were in shock. Security escorted me out of the building, my box of personal items in my arms. I felt humiliated, angry, and utterly powerless. I had poured my heart into that company, and I was thrown out because I tried to prevent a disaster. I spent the rest of the day in a daze. I called my parents, updated my resume, and tried to process what had just happened. The next morning, I woke up to a frantic voicemail from one of my former colleagues. He sounded panicked. "You were right," he said. "It's a complete disaster. Chloe ran her program, and it's all gone. The core data is corrupted. It's a mess. No one knows what to do." A small, dark part of me felt a sense of vindication, but it was quickly overshadowed by a sick feeling in my stomach. The work of hundreds of people was at stake. Later that day, I got a call from an unknown number. It was Mr. Harrison. His voice was strained. He apologized profusely for what had happened. He said, "I should have been there. Chloe had no authority to fire you. We need you back. Can you please help us?" He explained the situation. Chloe's software had bypassed all the safety protocols. It had merged the data incorrectly, creating thousands of duplicate, conflicting, and corrupted entries. The backup systems were struggling to restore a clean version because the corruption was so deep. The other company had been notified of a technical issue, but time was running out. They were threatening to pull out of the deal if the data wasn't restored within 24 hours. The entire $5.3 billion merger was on the verge of collapse. He asked me what it would take for me to come back and fix it. This was my moment. I could have named my price, made demands, but all I wanted was justice. I told him I would help on one condition. I wanted a formal written apology from Chloe, and I wanted her removed from the project permanently. Mr. Harrison agreed without hesitation. He also offered me a promotion to lead analyst and a significant raise, effective immediately. He said, "Just tell me what you need." I went back to the office that night. It was a strange feeling, walking past the same security guards who had escorted me out less than 48 hours earlier. The atmosphere in the department was grim. Chloe was nowhere to be seen. My former teammates looked at me like I was a superhero. They cleared a path to my old desk. I took a deep breath and got to work. The system was in worse shape than I imagined. It was a digital wasteland. But I knew that system better than anyone. I still had my original script saved on a personal drive. For the next 18 hours, I barely moved. My team rallied around me, bringing me coffee, running diagnostics, and doing anything I asked. We worked through the night, meticulously untangling the corrupted data, byte by byte. I used my script to isolate the damage and carefully restore the original datasets from a deep archive backup that Chloe didn't even know existed. It was grueling, painstaking work. Finally, at around 5 a.m., we ran the final diagnostic. Green lights across the board. The data was clean. It was restored. We had done it. A few hours later, Mr. Harrison walked in with the CEO. They both shook my hand, their faces filled with relief and gratitude. The CEO told me I had single-handedly saved the company from a monumental catastrophe. The merger was back on track. Later that day, an official memo went out announcing Chloe's resignation. I never saw her again. The apology she was forced to write was on my desk, along with my new contract. The merger went through successfully a few weeks later. My promotion was confirmed, and I became the head of the new combined data analytics department. The whole experience taught me a valuable lesson. Sometimes, standing up for what's right is the hardest thing to do, but it's always worth it. Your integrity and expertise are your most valuable assets, and no one can take that away from you. In the end, competence won out over connections. It was a tough 72 hours, but seeing that $5.3 billion deal close, knowing I was the one who saved it, was the best revenge I could have ever asked for. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.